Hello everyone and welcome to a TvZ here on Derelict Watcher. I am the red Terran spawning in the top right hand position, Ketroc, and the bottom left my opponent today is Rhino, the blue Zerg. So we'll be going for a Mass Raven build here. I guess I haven't done a replay commentary for a while, so I can actually talk about the exact build order. Once it reads 9 of 11, your next SCV plus one more you want to send out, one to build the depot at your ramp, and the other one to go off to get an engineering bay block on the Zerg. And then from this point, we're just queuing up SCVs right up to 16. So building the engineering bay, building the way that blocks the hatchery and keeps an eye on his ramp, so you can keep an eye on any drone that tries to go out and try to take an alternate base, so you can go block that one. If no overlord or drone comes to low ground, you should probably check his pool timing, because that could be an indicator of a 10 pool or a 6 pool. Queuing up attack commands here rather than patrolling, this way the SCV will actually chase any drone that comes out. It's a little tip you can use there. But it looks like my opponent went actually for pool gas, which is another standard response, as well as trying to take an alternate hatchery. After a while, I just send this home. As for the build order at home, you want to go command center on 16, barracks on 16, then build your 17th SCV, then go double gas, then build your 18th and 19th SCV while making an engineering bay, and that should line up everything really well. As soon as this barracks is done, you'll hit your supply cap at 19, but you can also build an orbital at that time while you're supply capped. And then as soon as this PF is done, you should have 150 gas. I guess I screwed up this bit a little bit. To immediately build a PF. I want to build 2 Marines out of the barracks. And when the second Marine pops, you want to send 9 SCVs to the low ground. 9 SCV transfer. These first couple Marines can obviously shoot any links come with the ramp, but it's also a good time to take out these destructible rocks. Oftentimes, the rocks is in a position where you may want to put a second PF later in the game for this strategy, as a double PF is pretty strong versus most Zerg compositions, especially Ling heavy ones. So second Marine is popped, get both Marines firing at this rocks, float the barracks down, replace the barracks with a depot, and then the low ground you want to create a bunker, and 2 refineries. And notice the way I have the barracks and depot set up, the barracks creates a strong structure to create a wrap to the ramp. This way units have to run like this to get in. So the PF defends itself, the PF defends the ramp. If he tries to blow through the structure on the ramp, you can put Marines on the high ground and put Marines in this bunker. So he did go for a big roach attack, I guess when he saw... This is pretty common actually. To face an all-in, which is exactly what you want. Oftentimes the Zerg will see, hey, this guy just eBay blocked me so I can't take my expo. Hey, he just went command center first on the low ground, why don't I just go kill him? And the attacks don't work. By the time like Lings would arrive, you have a completed command center, which is turning into a PF, and you complete the wall. Lings can't do anything versus that. You have this setup versus roaches or bailing bust, where like you can't kill the PF and you can't get up the ramp. Really cool to regen rate when roaches are burrowed. You know they heal faster than a medevac healing unit when roaches are underground like that. And of course the key part of this build is you get your 4 gas super fast. Eventually I do want this like kind of depot wall here. It's failing best, so try that depot first. If you didn't roach rush you want to actually poke out with your first 3 Marines and a couple SCVs. I like to go 3 Marines and 3 SCVs, like as soon as possible. And just push across the map until you run into something. And then kill that something and then move back home. And that's just a feint to push. Like, you know, the Zerg sees an SCV pull and you might like overreact and build a whole bunch of larvae and things that aren't drones. So you see he is getting some drone kills, or some SCV kills here. Oh, he's killed 2. But he's also forced to cancel on a depot and whatnot. And at this point we're just teching straight up to Starport with the tech lab, as well as we're going to create a turret ring that goes around our entire base. If you did spend a bunch of early gas, like in this case on roaches or banelings, I'd suggest you open with a Banshee right away from the starport because it's unlikely mutas are coming out quick. Otherwise, I suggest opening with a Viking from the starport just to go clear out overlords around the map. Either way, you don't want to start your Raven production until you have this corded reactor 50 seconds complete. That way, when it's 50 seconds complete, the first Banshee will pop out with range, or with the extra 25 energy. So he's rallying some lings across the map. It's interesting. Normally I like my turret rings, like my 2 turrets, like say like here and here, but in this case since there's roaches hanging up there and kind of shutting down my mining, I probably could have just cleared it out with my marines and whatnot, but he's getting some more kills. So he's shutting down my mining, he's got 3 worker kills. But I think that Banshee's finally about to pop. There it is. Going up to 4 starports. So it's 1 starport, then you get the turret ring. Got a bunch of idle SCVs there while I'm trying to fix things up. And then go to 4 starports, and then you want to get double command center after that. So it's a pretty late third, but we have a touch of an early lead, so late third isn't as painful, and hopefully we force some things out. So it looks like he's actually going for Bailing Bust here, so he's continuing the aggression. And with the 4 starports, I'm going to start pumping Ravens. I still have some idle SCVs. And the reason for so many turrets, it might look like overkill, but we gotta remember I don't have Marines or Stim or Thors or anything good anti-air, so I'm very reliant on missile turrets. You know, it keeps the... Okay, we'll get back to that. Here comes the Bailing Bust. Take control of the PF and focus the Bailing Clump, like that, boom. You can see almost all the Bailings went down. He's still got a decent number of SCV kills, pretty good number actually. 20 kills he's up to now. So he's blaming the AI, but again, you just take control of the PF and you focus the middle of Bailing Clumps. And if he blames the AI, just keep your mouth shut, because he'll probably just think he's unlucky and he might even try it again. So finishing off this wall now. And Raven production is going. There's the two command centers. I was making a point right before this attack came in. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, the turret ring. So the turret rings might seem like overkill, but again, I would just die to mutas otherwise, since I don't have Stim or Thors. And then also this turret ring, you know, functions later in the game, and it keeps out Overlord scouts. So you can hide your starports, you can keep your Ravens even further back. So if he does scout the starport, he probably won't immediately think, hey, this guy's going for Ravens in the 12 minutes, you know. And then we also, since we have those 4 early gas, we built up a nice bank of like, it's probably usually around 1700 gas, which is okay to have all that gas banked up because we're protected because of the PF. And obviously with gas being the bottleneck of this build, the more gas we can bank, the less the bottleneck hurts. So Mulas are coming in, getting a little bit lucky on this timing, caught me just before I get the turrets up, and I only have 2 Ravens here, and I'm not watching. So he's going to get a bunch of Raven kills, and then the new Ravens are rallying out, which is bad, so I'm just throwing down emergency auto turrets, but yeah, it's not looking good. You're getting a little bit of damage done. I guess I kind of reacted, but it's really unlucky on the timing there, and it was only like a handful of this too. But he kind of got suicidal, so that's fine. Really wanted to kill that last Raven. Lost his 4 mutas, which is extremely bad, at least, especially these days with mutas regen being so nice. So I guess we'll speed up a touch here. It's kind of getting idle. Zerg is trying to take his 4th, catch up a little bit economically. I got my 3rd established, and usually I'd be throwing down more command centers now and starting a bunch of Hellbat production, but since I've lost so many SCVs this game, 22, I'm feeling a little bit mineral strapped. Changelings, shut those down. Here comes a Baling Bust. Again, targeting the Balings with the PFs. And again, he's complaining how bad like his bad luck is with the computer AI, quote unquote. Having thrown away those Balings and with me still having lots of energy left, I figure it's a really good time to counterattack, so that's what we're going to do. Spores are actually not a good answer to Ravens. They just kind of zone the Ravens a little bit. Spines are probably the answer you want because you know, Spines that can actually kill the auto turrets. So it looks like he went into Swarm Host play. A little late on the repair. Never underestimate how much damage Swarm Host can do. But, you know, Seeker Missile is a pretty good counter to Swarm Host. If you ever see early Swarm Host play, go for the counterattack first, and then fly back home with the Ravens to kill the Swarm Host of Seekers. I think that I found that's the best response. Because PFs can kind of hold off Swarm Host, definitely. One Swarm Host survived that, so you don't see this every day, but SCVs, man, hard counter to Swarm Host. Didn't realize I left a couple Ravens behind. Oh well. Establishing my own fort this time. I like to double PF everything. It's just so strong, and I don't really have any ground presence too besides the PF, so I felt like the Storm Host might be coming this way, so I quickly throw on auto turrets because I know I don't have my missile turrets up in time here. And it turns out that was true, so a couple Seeker Missiles just to shoo him away, but he actually eats them. And, you know, dipping and diving with my Ravens, trying to just avoid where these Storm Hosts might be. I keep saying Swarm Hosts. Corruptors. So at this point, I've finally got the minerals intake to start doing good Hellbat production. Which, considering going Mass Ravens, the fact that I was so low on minerals for so long is, you know, testament to how many SCVs I lost. So these guys, you can just kind of just move them across the map, and they're pretty good that way. You can put your attention somewhere else. Obviously, if you can multitask, it's nice to like push these into mineral lines and stuff. But if you want to do multi-prong harassment, the Hellbat's the one you have to look at the least. You know, you can defend while you're doing auto turret harass. While you just let Hellbats do the film thing. This looks like Ultras are on the field. Whenever you face Mutiling Baling composition, whenever it's not Roach Hydro put that way, you probably want to get Fusion Core around like the 18-minute mark. I didn't do that, so I'm just trying to throw down a Fusion Core now, I think. There it is. And I'm going to switch into BCs. BCs is what I get whenever I'm against whenever I see Ultras. Yamato in particular is a key spell. And then you can always transition to like a Sky Terran Force. You can add Vikings and then bring your Ravens back to your BCs, and then you got this like pretty solid army. I did a depot wall, but I did it on the wrong side. I should have done it on this side. It made a lot more sense. He quit the game, but you know, had I lost the space, we got triple PF going up over here. Threw down emergency auto turrets just because I knew once Ultras hit the field, it gets very base tradey. Ravens are useless versus Ultras, so what you want to do is just counterattack with your Ravens. Try to do more damage to him than his Ultras can do to you. While you wait for the Battle Cruisers to pop out, and the Battle Cruisers is what will deal with the Ultralisk. So, you know, even if you lose like 2 or 3 expansions, as long as you killed 2 or 3 of his and eventually hold, you'll be okay. This was kind of like an emergency defense too, because I figured my natural would go down with just the 1 PF. But as it turns out, with all his early aggression and, you know, pretty solid harassment on my front, he didn't have the economy for that Ultra thing to even be scary. Plus, he's doing a lot of weird tech choices. He even has a Greater Spire. He was doing Swarm Host earlier, Roaches, so he was all over the map with this tech. Yeah, so with that, we will call out the end of this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check the description for a thumbs up link, and goodbye.